I have beef with Chinese Luckin Coffee.
China's largest coffee chain is taking on the US. At the beginning of September 2025, just 2 months since its launch, Luckin had opened 5 stores in New York City. The coffee giant has only been around since 2017, but it's become a dominant force in its domestic market, with almost all of its 26,000 locations in China. For reference, Starbucks
It has. Oh, okay.
has just under
I thought it had more stores in the US than China. That's a little red flag.
8,000 in China, and about
Okay. Oh, it has more. Oh, okay. It's total.
17,000 in the US. CNBC visited one of the first Luckin locations in New York. It had a number on the coffee counter, 00002. The zeros suggest that Luckin may be looking to scale its locations here into the thousands. But what challenge Luckin made coffee counter?
That is 1, 2. Okay, that's like 10,000 right there.
00002.
Or like, it could go to like 99,999.
The zeros. What challenges could Luckin face as it enters the US market? And what kind of threat could it pose to coffee chains like Starbucks?
Is that cheaper than Starbucks? Because I went to Starbucks recently. I was craving a pumpkin spice latte. I'm on my Valley Girl era. Yeah, apparently I'm allergic to the pumpkin spice. So, I could only have, pumpkin coffee, no pumpkin spice. Still good, though. But that was expensive. It was like $7, $8 for a cup of coffee. That's crazy. I could get a whole meal. I could get a hello platter.
Luckin is a relatively
Rise, fall, and rise again. Dude, this is why I have beef with them. Back then, I bought Luckin Coffee stock on the, New York Stock Exchange? Wherever it was. I bought stock on them. Then it dropped. I bought the dip. Then it dropped again. I bought the dip more. And then it dropped. I bought more of the dip. And then it disappeared from the stock market.
young company, but has already experienced some major ups and downs. Founded in June 2017, within 2 years, the company went public on the NASDAQ. Its initial growth was rapid, and Wall Street was bullish on its future.
It was good, but you know what the problem was? They were faking their reports. Like, they didn't have that many customers, but they were faking it.
Q1 of 2018 to Q1 of 2019, Luckin's customer base soared from 485,000 people to 16.9 million. That's about 45,000 new customers per day.
Yeah,
It's a volume game.
Look at that. That was all fake. That's why the stock plummeted once they found out of the scandal.
At the end of the day, Luckin is pointing to have the sales leverage come through the door, minimize the cost of the real estate by having as many transactions as possible, and so be it if the marginal profit on the marginal coffee is relatively small. They are trying to optimize for transactions.
But only after 18 months as a publicly traded company, Luckin was charged with fraud by the SEC. In its preliminary IPO filing, the company noted that it is an emerging growth company, which meant it was eligible for reduced reporting requirements. Most notably, Luckin didn't need an auditor to attest to its internal management. In January 2020, short seller Muddy Waters Research shared an anonymous report that alleged fraudulent report.
Look at that. That's why I lost so much money. I kept buying the dip when there was a scandal. I was like, oh yeah, after this they'll just rebound. It's just the market oversold it, right? And it just disappeared. That was crazy. Lost a good chunk of money back then. I didn't have that much back then, and I put majority of it in there. I'm like, dude, this is it. This is the opportunity. Everyone's selling out. I gotta buy. It's like Warren Buffett's quote: when everyone's greedy, you gotta be like, you gotta stand back. You gotta be cautious. When everyone's bearish, like scared, everyone's fearing, then you should buy. That's what I was trying to follow.
Reporting of key business metrics to manipulate investor confidence. The report said it utilized 92 full-time and over 1,400 part-time staff to run surveillance and record store traffic for 981 days in 620 stores. Luckin's stock price tanked in the wake of the...
Look at that. I keep buying the dip, and it just kept dipping until it just disappeared.
The report. In February 2020, the company issued a press release calling the short seller's report misleading and false. Investors and analysts also had doubts about its validity, and the stock rebounded. But by April, an internal investigation found the COO had fabricated 2019 sales by $310 million. Shares fell over 80%, wiping out $5 billion off its market cap. It turns out the company was also reporting millions in profits when restated filings show it was actually operating at a loss. Luckin was delisted from the NASDAQ in June 2020.
That's when I lost so much money. And when was it? June 2020? It was like before COVID, a little before COVID.
And filed for bankruptcy less than a year later. But Luckin emerged from bankruptcy in 2022. It brought in new leadership and cleaned up its balance sheet. Over the next 3 years, it more than tripled its store count and quickly overtook Starbucks in China by total revenue. Despite a report from the Financial Times that Luckin was plotting its return to the NASDAQ, the company still trades on the OTC market, or over-the-counter market, a less regulated exchange.
Whoa. 2024? Damn, that's crazy.
Its share price is up around 100% over the past year.
Luckin relies entirely on mobile ordering. It cuts down the wait time in the stores and also reduces the amount of labor that it needs to operate. I see a coupon here for a $1.99 drink on my first order. Luckin's full-priced items aren't actually that far off from Starbucks, but the difference is you're rarely ever paying full price. The app showers you with coupons. So much so that it's actually...
Oh, wow. Okay, it's not that much different from Starbucks. Starbucks is insane. Like, imagine making a fruit tea. Like, what did it cost? Tea? How do you get more tea? More water? Or like more powder? Most of these places, they use syrup, they use powder. Cost like cents to make. The real cost is the high traffic area, like the store, the rent, the workers. Everything else, dude, that's just pretty much free.
Actually unlikely its initial stores are even profitable right now. That is not how its competitor operates.
Starbucks has always strived to be profitable on a single occasion. In the case of Luckin, the idea is I want to grow in awareness. I want to make sure that the brand gets recognized on a national basis, even though at the beginning this means that I might need to be suffering from some smaller losses on a per store basis.
Yep, that's all tech companies. It's like gain a lot of market share. That's all you want to do. Get market share. And then once everyone's used to your product, your service, then you can start hiking up prices. Then you can become profitable. But right now it's running at a loss just to get market share, just for more people to know it. A lot of companies do that. Uber, DoorDash, Lyft, all of those like tech companies, they lose money to get market share. Even Snapchat, Cash App, all of them.
New York is an expensive place to operate a coffee shop. Equity research firm Bernstein analyzed its initial profitability. Rent for Luckin's Midtown location is around $15,000 per month, and labor costs are around $66,000 per month.
What?
Utilities, maintenance, and insurance could cost another $10,000. That puts its overhead at around $92,000. In the report published in late July 2025, less than a month after opening, the stores were estimated to be generating $85,000 per month, averaging about 500 to 600 orders per day. Order volumes would need to be double that to break even. I ordered on the app to test out the experience.
It says it should be ready in just a couple of minutes. Walking up to the store, here is Luckin. Thank you. Thank you. Luckin had some really interesting and innovative drinks in there. I saw pineapple cold brew on the menu. This is a coconut iced latte. It's one of their most popular drinks, and it's really good. It's just a hint of coconut and not too sweet.
The company rolled out nearly 120 new drinks and food items in China in 2024, but it launches these new varieties carefully, using a strategic, data-driven approach to test new products on the market. Neither Starbucks nor Luckin agreed to an interview with CNBC for this story, but the Chinese coffee company had noted in a press release that its initial soft launch in New York City would enable the company to gain localized operational insights into site selection, product innovation, and customer experience, providing valuable insights for the company's global expansion. Traffic to the Starbucks across the street from the Midtown Luckin location that we visited was not particularly affected during the initial weeks of its launch. This specific Starbucks was already seeing large year-over-year drops in visits, irrespective of the Luckin opening. Replicating Luckin's success in China here in the US may not be as easy as it seems.
Here in the United States, the coffee culture is much more mature, and a new brand for as a new challenger it might seem, they are facing some local competition to national competition. And so displacing some of the larger players might be just harder. Secondly, purely from a cultural standpoint, especially in this day and age, we are seeing the United States retrenching a little bit more toward American brands.
And while many chains are rewarding customers for using their mobile app, some might be adverse to that as their only option. The woman in front of me tried to add an additional drink to her order in person, and the guy said, no, it all has to go through the app. The guy behind me walked in, and I guess he didn't realize that it was an entirely mobile, cashierless environment, and he tried scanning the QR code, download.
No way, there's no cashier? Okay. Makes it easier, but I feel like they're targeting their younger audience. That's why, like, everyone knows how to use an app. Everyone knows how to download, pay for it. I see what's going on here. They make it on your app, right? You add your payment method, and it's just so easy. It's so simple. You don't have to go in. You don't have to order. And it makes it easier for the next time you order. And they keep giving you coupons. It just reduces the barriers you have to think of before you order. So it makes it easier time and time again, and then it just becomes a habit. Even McDonald's, even those fast food chains, some studies showed that they actually have an increase in sales because there's no cashier. They're judging them like, oh, what? You're gonna get 6 Big Macs for yourself? Like, they don't say that, but it's always in the back of the mind. But when there's a kiosk, they don't care. No one's judging them. They actually order more. So maybe that's why. 2 reasons. It makes it easier for you to order the next time. I mean, it's hard the first time, right? You're like, fuck this place. I don't like it. It's so much hassle. But the next time, it's easier. Like, it's just right there. You just press a couple buttons. It's ready when you get there. So it's a hard upfront investment, and then it gets easier over time. And the second part is they don't judge you, so you could get whatever you want. You could get weird combos, weird drinks. Interesting.
Loading the app, got frustrated, and just walked out. So there still seems to be a little bit of friction around this idea of an entirely mobile environment.
It's distinct from Starbucks, which is telling you sort of coming into stores, that employee connection is still important. Luckin doesn't necessarily have that, right? So I think our view would be that isn't a broader threat to Starbucks. Do they establish somewhat of a foothold in major cities?
But the past couple years have been rocky for Luckin's main competitor, Starbucks. The company brought in former Chipotle CEO Brian Niccol last year to revitalize the brand. The hire cost the company $85 million in cash and stock compensation. He's made all sorts of top-down efforts, like having baristas write messages on the cups and adding more comfortable seating into the stores to revive the brand's coffee house image.
In the case of the United States, for Luckin will be trying to approach the overseas expansion without necessarily having the same level of localized and deep-rooted experience into this market.
Look at that. They have multi latte? No way. Maltai is like an insane white spirit.
That enable them to
It's like what, 56% alcohol?
be scaling rapidly in China. I'm not saying that this may not be a threat to Starbucks, but Starbucks has still the incumbent. They still are significantly more relevant for a US consumer. What we have seen in the store might be indicative of the fact that if the awareness were to be rising, consumers might be lacking that product and could be a potential threat to Starbucks.
Do you need to cut price at all? You talked about the value scores, given there are so many new entrants into the beverage space with so much added competition. McDonald's, Luckin, there are so many others. Are you thinking about price cuts?
I do believe we are a premium brand, and I do believe you get a premium experience with the Green Apron service model, and what we're doing to our coffee house is to give people that coffee house experience again. So
yeah, $8 for a cup of coffee. What do you want? What do you get for a bigger cup of coffee? More water? That's it. Sometimes the shots stay the same, the espresso shots stay the same, and you just get more water. Water is literally free. It's like, what, 8 cents a gallon, 20 cents a gallon? That's like nothing for a cup. And you just paid like $3 more for a bigger size. That's insane. That's a crazy business model. But I mean, it depends on the demographic. Some people are willing to pay for it because it's easy. They get the flavors they want. But Luckin and Starbucks, I feel like is a totally different ballpark. Like Luckin is the beverages that come from China. The craze is all like boba, bubble tea, and Starbucks is just coffee. I don't see Starbucks serving up boba unless I'm out of the loop. But it's a totally different ballpark. They should. It's like Gongcha, Kung Fu Tea. What else? Vivi. Out of all those, I like Vivi bubble tea the best, but they have too much sugar.
I think we're priced correctly right now, and I like our competitive position.
Where Luckin shines is value. Its products are not actually that far off from Starbucks prices. A latte at the Luckin we visited was $5.75. At Starbucks, it's $5.95. The key difference, however, is that customers are rarely paying that full price at Luckin. They're showered with coupons in the app, often in the range of 30 to 50% off. In 2024, Starbucks began offering frequent deals.
Look at that. Either way, you make money. Like, even if you pay, what, $2 something, $3? $3 on a cup of coffee, on a cup of whatever, you're still making money. It costs you at most $1 with the cup, with the water, with the ice, with everything. What's expensive is the labor and the rent. That was a lot in labor costs. That was like what, 60,000 in labor, 15,000 a month for rent. Imagine just throwing 90 grand, throwing 90,000 for as a test. They're testing out New York as like as a probe. Like they land in New York, they test it out, see what people like, and then they branch out. And they have multiple locations, throwing out 90 grand a month. I mean, of course they make a little bit back, but let's say each store, what did I say before? Like each store was running at like 10,000 loss, 15,000 loss. If you have like 6 stores, that's a lot of loss. That's like what, 120? No, that's like what, 90K loss?
And promotions within its app too. This attracted customers that were more price sensitive.
But Nickel had the company move away from that.
It was driving away the core consumer base, who was feeling fairly disappointed by the lower quality of experience, despite the premium price that they would need to pay for Starbucks coffee. Starbucks is a premium brand. And by virtue of being a premium brand, you attract consumers that, on average, tend to be a little bit more price insensitive, a little bit less attracted by discount. And so they can protect their margins a little bit better than a company that is mostly known for their discount models.
Based on its track record in China, Luckin could absolutely pose a threat to Starbucks' dominance in the US. But this is Starbucks' home turf, and despite some recent speed bumps, the company has managed to scale its operations here profitably for years. Plus, the coffee market is highly saturated in the US, with thousands of local players. Now, only time will tell just how big of a disruptor Luckin will be.
That's the thing with Starbucks. It's not really it is a premium brand in a way. Like it attracts people that don't care about money, price insensitive, but also it attracts people that really don't have the money, but they just can't control their spending. They're like, oh, let me get an $8 cup of coffee. Makes no sense. Luckin Coffee, it's more... Starbucks is more of a culture now. Like everyone talks about Starbucks. Every American, they're like, oh, let's go to Starbucks. But Luckin, it's a new player. It's like only if people are in New York, someone introduced them, they see it, the store packed, they try it out, and they're like, oh, it's cheaper. It's pretty much the same. And it's just drinks, but more variety. Like Starbucks comes out with new drinks, but not as much as Luckin Coffee. Luckin is like truly innovating the drink space. But I still have beef with them. They lost me so much money from the fraud. If they didn't do fraud, it'd be fine. If I lost money by itself, it'd be fine. But that's all for today, or this video. That's all for this video. How Chinese Luckin is taking on Starbucks in the US.